Hello everybody, San here, engineer, MBA, and investor. And in today's video, I want to talk about this article on Innovative Genomics Institute. Of course, this is a website that is promoted by Nobel Prize winner Dr. Doudna, and of course, it's a publisher that is really well known in the genomic space. And I want to talk about all of that here in this video. This specific article from none other than Hope Henderson. We actually covered one of her articles, I think in 2022, was it, or maybe early 2023. So I said, you know what, this article is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. It's pretty interesting. It reminds us of several things, a couple of drawings as well that I want to take a look at. And yeah, we'll do that in today's Sunday video. Of course, guys, once a week a video. That's basically the schedule that I have. Maybe I'll do 2 videos a week, maybe 3. Maybe as we get closer to 31st October, which is of course the date that a lot of people are looking at. If you guys don't know what 31st October means in the CRISPR space, watch one of my previous videos. You'll know all about it. In one sentence, it's basically an external committee that will basically tell the FDA whether or not they should approve CRISPR Therapeutics and Vertex Hexacells program. So that's another topic for another day. Now let's head into today's video. But actually, before we even do that, I want to get you guys your attention to this video on Science Communication Lab. It has about 66,000 views. It premiered about early September, and it's an amazing type of 14-minute video that actually talks a lot about the documentary of how Nobel Prize winner Dr. Doudna and Dr. Charpentier got to that point. This was back in 2020, 2021, when of course people were wearing masks and they were celebrating and just going through the history, how they got to that point. And it's really professional. It's really well done. The documentary, this video here, I highly recommend you guys to watch it. I'll just link it in the description below. Again, it's always a good thing to see these types of production works. I think it's the least we can do is support these videos, watch it, maybe like it, maybe share it, right? So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so guys, we're jumping in today's video. Okay, so Henderson sort of states a couple things here, right? So immunodeficiencies, right? With CRISPR, you find them, you fix them, immunodeficiencies, right? And Dr. Nugent sees patients with immune disorders looking for answers. Sometimes it's clear why a genetic mutation knows to cause immunodeficiency. Okay, so what is immunodeficiency? I'm not going to bore you guys with all the details, but basically it's just like the word states, there's a deficiency in their immune system. It could be for many, many reasons, but it's always about a mutation that happened that shouldn't have happened in their genes, and that's why some people have immunodeficiencies, right? And immune cells are easily accessible through blood for gene editing, so it's a nice intersection between patients' needs and practicality. Of course, this is referencing to previous studies, previous works being done in the CRISPR landscape. Okay, so using these cells allows me the flexibility to study things in a diverse genetic background. On an individual level, we can match a patient's age, sex, and ethnicity to have the right genetic background to study their mutation and determine if that's what's causing their illness, or it might be due to a different mutation or environmental factor. You cannot fix what you don't know is broken, and that's a really good sign. You cannot fix what you don't know is broken, right? So Nugent is really excited for unique possibilities using CRISPR versus old genome therapy methods to treat these disorders. In classical gene therapy, you use a virus to insert an extra copy of a broken gene. That will work to make a protein, but it's not well regulated. Of course, efficiency, cost, there's a lot more than that, right? It's not scalable and so on, and talk about safety and so on. So obviously CRISPR is a solution for this type of disease, these types of disorders that, there's a large population that has it. I'm quite confident a lot of people watching this video knows at least one person that has some sort of immune disorder. At least one person. And I mean like in the close circle. I don't mean like a friend. I'm quite confident all of you know at least one person. We may not think it's a severe case, we may think it's not a big deal, but there's always at least one person in our life, if not multiple, right? Especially when it's genetics, right? Passed down through family branches and so on. So I really like this graph here from Henderson here. So we'll take a look at it here. So number one, identify mutation. Of course, this goes back to what the quote we just read. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. So you want to identify the mutation. You automate the guide design. You collect the patient cells. You correct the mutation ex vivo method, right? So you extract the cells. You do some work in the lab, right? You expand the cells. And then you, of course, step 6, deliver repaired cells to the patient. So you inject them back to the patient. Of course, originally you extracted patient cells that have mutations, basically. You fix that, you do your work in the lab, you then end up injecting back the same cells, but now with the fix, right, because of the ex vivo editing with CRISPR. And of course, then part of step 6 here is to correct the mutation, right? And of course, here they're making a parallel here, saying there's 2 ways of doing this, right? There's ex vivo and then there's in vivo, right? We just took a look at it. Ex vivo. In vivo is clearly a different method, right? You basically, again, you still have to identify the mutation. You still have to have some sort of automation of guide design. But then you sort of package your CRISPR components, you administer them to the patient. So you do your edits straight to the patients. In this case, they're doing the liver here. So of course, liver is very popular in the in vivo space, referred to Antilia. Clinical trials ongoing here. And we actually talk about how some companies are trying to do that off the other organs, not just the liver. The liver is great. Of course, you want to do a lot of stuff with the liver. You can do a lot of stuff with the liver. But there are, of course, other organs that, could benefit if you were to able to crack that. For example, the brain. Okay, so target cells in vivo and then correct mutation, right? So I don't think this article is really trying to, it's not going to try to tell you, what you should be picking. In fact, if anything, they actually tell you it's sort of similar. I would argue that in vivo could be a lot more cost friendly, but they don't talk about it here in this diagram, right? What they talk about this diagram is these are the 2 ways, right? These are the 2 ways. These are the 2 ways that companies and organizations and universities and institutions are exploring, in vivo and ex vivo. And regardless which path you take, it's still the same type of process where you have to basically administer some sort of edit to the body, whether that's through editing the cells outside of their body and then injecting them back in, or just injecting whatever you need to with the CRISPR therapy straight into the patient's liver, for example. What this article is really trying to tell you, at least this design here, is there's the 2 different ways, right? But ultimately, the real goal here is to correct the mutation, because the moment you correct the mutation, then you can tackle immuno diseases, you can tackle those deficiencies. And there's a lot of misconception, right? There's a lot of misconception in this landscape. Actually, they mentioned Dr. Yurnov here in this article, and I think Dr. Yurnov posted something on X.com. They said there's so many myths in the genomics / biotech space about CRISPR. Forget about people inside CRISPR, right? I'm talking about like the generic people in this space, in the biotech space. And I'm not even talking about the average citizen, right? I'm talking about the people in the biotech space. Lots of people are continuously saying that CRISPR is not safe. There's lots of potential for off target. There's lots of potential for basically errors. And they're not really quite confident about its efficiency and safety. And it's so many myths out there. And it's unfortunate because people sort of make up their mind, make up their opinions, make up their statements without really looking at the science, without really looking at the data, without really understanding that, hey guys, before we even went into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, for example, Hexacell, CRISPR therapeutics went for years in preclinical on rats, mice, right? You look at Verve working with monkeys in the preclinical trials with base editing. I mean, I'm not saying that monkeys and humans, data have to be one-to-one in all cases, but it's not like, we only have this set of data, right? And, if anything, now we're end of 2023, we're heading into 2024. There's a lot more data, right, to refer. And you look at Caribou, what they're doing with the CAR-T space. You look at Antillia's amazing data, whether that's tackling HAE disease. You take a look at the ATTR disease, of course, trying to tackle the whole TTR protein situation in bodies with Antilia 2001. So, guys, there's a lot of potential in this space. There's a lot of good things. It's not just immune diseases. It's not just, immunodeficiencies or autoimmunity. It's not just all these rare genetic diseases. It could be, sickle cell disease, cystic fibrosis, neurologic diseases. I can't pronounce today. All these diseases, guys, can be cured, and we're looking at, hundreds of thousands, millions of people over the next 3, 5, 10 years that we could sort of bring back and extend their lifespan, right? Look, I've always said this many, many times. If you're able to extend lifespan, a lot of people are like, we want to become immortal, we want to extend our lifespan, and there's all these pills and all these research being done, aging and now, and honestly, it's all good. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I see a lot of value. I mean, I'm more of a basic, principle when it comes to aging and, expanding your lifespan, which is basically sleep well, don't eat anything that is harmful to your body, limit alcohol. I mean, don't do drugs. I mean, just lower your stress. Do exercise. Do a lot of exercise. Don't do anything stupid, and I think you can extend your lifespan significantly. But when it comes to curing diseases, automatically you are extending the lifespan of many, many people in society that would not have been able to do so. Even if they sleep well, even if they take whatever pill that, they could reduce their aging and so on, it still wouldn't fix the problem, which is like sickle cell disease. I mean, this is a lethal disease. I mean, you talk about, HAE disease or cystic fibrosis, all these diseases, not only they decrease your lifespan, but they decrease your lifestyle, right? Your healthy, your quality of life decreases, right? So these are things that I think people need to consider. I think these are things that are not explored enough, not discussed enough. I could make the following headline, CRISPR extends lifespan, because it does. I mean, we don't see it that way, but it actually does, right? So anyways, I went on a tangent here, but this is a great article from Henderson. Again, shout out to Hope Henderson for the continuous good work on IGI and even on X.com. I've seen her posts here and there. So it's a great article. I appreciate the information here. Great diagram here. It clarifies a lot of things high level. So hopefully you guys appreciate this. As always, guys, like this video if you found value. Subscribe if you're not, guys. Do subscribe. It really does help this channel. And let me know in the comments below, guys, what do you guys think about this article? What do you guys think about my statements? Let me know. I'll see you guys in the next video.